Hi guys. Hi. Sorry about that. It went wrong a little bit. So I'm in the lounge. I've got my coffee. I'm going to quickly message everyone, let everyone know we're live. So I'll give you a chance to get on, guys. It's Louis defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Right. Let's tell everyone. Okay. Da, da, da. So we've got Rose. Got Lorraine. Lorraine has sent me some interesting stuff. Yeah, so I know that the what they called again, is it? Let's just have a look a minute. We've got the those Elvis girls interviewed Priscilla Presley's business partner in the clothing boutique that they had in the 70s. This it doesn't say her name. Oh yes, Olivia Biss, and we know the shop was called Biss and Bow. Well, sorry about that, guys. Hi, Vibex. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Deborah. It went a bit wrong, so I've got a few subjects today. It's a bit echoey in here, but at least I've got a bit of quiet from the kids. So did any of you watch that at all? Let me just show you. This isn't our subject, but I just thought it was quite interesting. I think Lorraine sent it me. So you see that, guys? And it's those, let's have a look. Those Elvis girls, and they are interviewing the business partner of Priscilla Presley when she opened that Biss and Bow shop way back in the 70s just after she'd split up from Elvis. So I have watched half of it. Quite boring, the first half, but the second half did look like it started to get quite interesting. So I'm going to watch all of it and we'll come back to you on that. So let me just quickly message everyone to let everyone know that we're live. So we got Maria. Let's have a look. We got Lisa. She sent me a new song from Rare Elvis Photos. He's released another song which I thought was quite good. Let's have a look. Catherine. So many of you guys. Right. Judith. And some of you, it doesn't say live, it says love. How's Vibex? Tammy, is that a new name? Is Tammy a new name? Tammy, where are you from? Are you new? Right, let's get everyone on the Hidden Minds. We've got Renee, his brilliant YouTube channel. We've got Stacy. Natalie. Natalie's great. I may as well tell Amy, why not? Amy, you know Amy Collett. Got Melissa. Melissa's probably asleep. Are you there, Melissa? Melissa sends me brilliant information. So bit by bit, I get all of you. We've got Jane Treenall. Let's make sure we got the new members on as well. Let's have a look. Sue Shannon. Let's have a look. I have been here a couple of times from Western Kentucky. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to Team Elvis. We love you. Say hello to Tammy, everyone. You're very welcome to our community. You're welcome to Team Elvis. So I think I've messaged all the people. Let's have a look. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. What about Diane? Diane's probably asleep. Because obviously we have different time zones. Let's get Diane on. If any of you are in connection with other people, please let them know I'm on. Please let them know, because I try and get everyone on, but it's not that easy. Let's have a look. So make sure I haven't missed anyone. Now Maria's a new one. I found Maria she's Maria Goretti Andrade. She has a son that is that is an Elvis impersonator. You know, and sings like Elvis. He was really good. So have a look. Shall I? Let's see if I can. So her son. Let's have a look. Let me see if I can. I hope. Let me see if I can find it first. So she sent me a live link, Maria, if you're there. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Let's go back again. Her son seems really good, and I think they're very. Trying to be strong, but nighttime comes along, and I start wanting you, loving you. Where is all my self-control? I'm burning way down in my soul, and needing you. I love this song. Wishing I could be the man I tried to. Hating me for wanting to be with you. Knowing you don't love me like you used to. But it's midnight, and I miss you. I love that song, guys. I love it. I don't want to play too much in case I get copyrighted, but Maria, your son is great. He is great. I really enjoy listening to those lives. They're brilliant. I can see why you're a very proud mother, Maria. So that is Maria. A bit more there. Yeah, America, come on. Right, so I'm in the lounge, as you can see. It's the only room at the moment I can get a bit of quiet from the kids. They're driving me mad. I love them. I love my kids, but I only want an hour. 1 hour, I'm happy. So, special welcome to all of you. I did have a difficult day yesterday. We had the results. I don't really want to talk about my wife, but we had the results back after her operation, and it was 50-50. It was some good and some bad. So I still think I'm very positive. Things are going to turn out fine. But for me, yesterday was a tough day. I feel much better today. And even today, I've got a bit of an MRI on my neck. My neck's a bit twitchy, so I have to go off, and they're going to do an MRI just on my neck. So that's where I'm going today. So I wanted to do a quick live before I go, basically. So yeah, I'm very positive. Sandra, I'm very positive. I'm very yes, we're going to beat this. That's how I feel with my wife. So so it was just a weird day for me yesterday, but today the fight is back on. I'm very positive, and we're just going to get on with things, and we're going to look to the future and face everything with a positive mental attitude. So let's just see who we got on. So we got Rosemary, Lorna, Tammy, Deborah, the Becks. Let's have a look. In the UK, it is 10:22 a.m. So my appointment is I have to be there at 12:45, so I've got to leave around 12. So I've got just enough time to do a quick live, and it's quite a nice drive actually. It's only a 20-minute appointment. It's nothing. I'll be in and out quick, and it's in Bristol. So you guys would have heard of Bristol. It's nothing serious. It's nothing serious. Right. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. 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 So it's 4:22 a.m. in Missouri. Morning, Gio. Thanks, Lorna. So Verbex is in Sweden. Hi, Sandra. Thanks, Sandra. Sandra's been sending me. I've been reading quite a few of Sandra's comments. You guys have sent me a lot of comments on the YouTube, on my YouTube videos. There's some great comments, guys. But before, I do like to read your comments while I'm drinking my coffee. I hope you guys have got a coffee. So there's a few things I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover the update of the Graceland scammer. I also wanted to cover what Shauna covered last night. And this is Michael Lockwood's, what has been agreed with him. I know you fans, you Elvis fans and Lisa Marie fans and Finley and Harper are very annoyed at Michael Lockwood. And you guys feel that he has ripped off his own kids. Or should I say Lisa Marie's kids? Sorry. So they've titled it Lisa Marie Presley X scores a 6-figure sum from Elvis's trust, which has annoyed quite a few of you. Yesterday we spoke about the book deal that Priscilla had. And I know that you guys are very upset about the book deal because you just don't feel that she has the right to write another book with more lies. Now, I think someone messaged me. It could have been Sandra. Sandra, did you message me saying that you felt the book Elvis and Me didn't put Elvis in a bad light? Was it you, Sandra? I'm just trying to think. I wanted to give you my views on that comment. Obviously, I've got the book. Where is it? Oh, the PC sat on it. Sandra, was that you? Just please tell me. No. Okay. Sorry, Sandra. Sorry. Someone messaged me saying that the book Elvis and Me didn't put Elvis in a bad light. I want to see if I can find it. Sorry, Sandra. I'm sorry that I thought it was you. I take that back. You know I love you, Sandra. Right? Do you forgive me? Do you forgive me? But someone messaged me. Let's see if I can find it. I've got so many messages, man. I've literally got 100 messages. No, I don't think it's going to show it. Let's try the other way. Sapphire blue. Sorry, right, Sandra. It's sapphire blue. The reason I thought it was Sandra is because the color of her logo. See the color of the logo. Sorry, that's why I got it confused. Sandra, do you forgive me? Do you forgive me? I'm really sorry. Now, Sapphire Blue, it always gives me great comments. Right here, I'll read it to you. Sapphire Blue, okay? Louis, did you read Elvis and Me? I don't like her, but I do not think that Elvis and Me, the book, made Elvis look bad. She said that she wrote it in a counteract some of the really awful books, primarily the Albert Goldman book. She said that she didn't want her daughter to think that Goldman's version of Elvis was the true one. However, the movie Elvis and Me did make him look bad, even having a rape scene. You said you didn't think it looked like a rape scene. And the reason I said that is because I think it was cut. So I watched the 1988 melodrama, and it just sort of shows him shouting at her. She falls to the floor, and then it jumps forward. So maybe I haven't watched the whole version of it. But I think you saw the TV version. There we go. And she's right. It was the TV version. In the cable version, that was unedited, and it definitely looked like a rape scene. Okay, thank you, Sapphire. Now, let's have a look. So, my point is, I have read the book Elvis and Me, and there's many things in it. I think the way it's worded makes Elvis look bad. especially when she's talking about the, don't forget, they never had sex. They never had sex. They were not a proper relationship. Elvis was very clear that it was a close friendship and there would be no sex. Now, if you read the wording of, their closeness scenes, she does give the impression that they did everything except sex. Now, we don't know if that's true. This is my point. We do not know if that's true. But if you were reading that book, you would think that Elvis was having some kind of sex with a 14-year-old girl. And I don't like that. I don't like that because we weren't there. We weren't in the room. Priscilla is the only one that has written this book from her point of view. We don't know if she's telling the truth. So I do think the book makes him look bad. There's other things in that book that subtly make Elvis look bad. So I'm Sapphire Blue. I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to say to you, I do think the book makes Elvis look bad. There's other things, even when she talks about Steve Peck, I don't like it, the way that she describes how she was sat with Elvis in his home, but really she was thinking about Steve Peck. But there's other things that she insinuates in the book. So I'm going to have to disagree with you. I do think the book makes him look bad. And I also think that book has been used as gospel by the interviewers and the filmmakers and documentary makers since 1987, is it? 1985. And I don't like it. I think it's not fair on Elvis because Elvis had no say in that book. So I disagree. I do think that book makes Elvis look bad. There's some very sweet romantic things in the book, and there's some very interesting things in the book. But it's still, overall, you walk away after reading that book and you think Elvis was a controller, a groomer, and had a temper, and you think you get the impression that he may have been a paedophile. Yeah, that's my opinion. Now, what is your opinion, guys? Do you think that the book Elvis and Me makes Elvis look bad? Please let me know in your comments. What do you think? Right, okay. So, yes, Lou, but it was explained in a dialogue in the film. It is called Tell, Don't Show. It is mentioned but not shown on film. Right, thanks, Diana. Did I wake you up, Diana? Okay, real legends have songs written about them. Yay. Yes, You Without You, great song. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love that song. It's so emotional. Gio, has anyone heard of Paul Simon singing Grace? And yeah, of course we do. We know that. It was clear gesture and indication of sexual acts against Priscilla Presley's will. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I don't believe it. We are defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. I don't believe it. I think it's an exaggerated, twisting version of a small argument. We weren't there, guys, but we're here to defend Elvis. And anything that doesn't sound right to me, I'm going to jump in and try and defend it. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's a great song, isn't it? So morning, Colleen. Hope you're well. Let's have a look. In a statement, she took back that they are still said that he raped her. Yeah, Deborah, I heard about this. I'd like to see that statement. I'd like to see it. We love it when we get evidence, don't we? So I have all the books ever written, but haven't read any of them. My brother-in-law gave them to me. Do you want them? Lots of other things too. Sandra, you don't have to give away all your things. They're probably very valuable. That's very generous of you to say that. So let's have a look. Philomena, do you ever hear the song Calling Elvis by Mark Knopfler? It's a great song, Gio. We love it. We love that song. Should we sing it? No, we better not. Narcissists relate everything to themselves. This book is epitome of narcissism and self-narrative. Yes, Diana, beautiful words. Because look, it's actually quite an easy read, isn't it? Elvis and Me, it's an easy read. I found it much easier to read than Child Bride. Now, I got issues now with Child Bride. I'm not happy about now that I've seen Suzanne Finstad giving interviews that makes Elvis out to be some kind of paedophile, I don't like. I've got a problem with Suzanne Finstad now. So I'm not promoting the book Child Bride at all now, because I know that we have. The reason we like Child Bride, the book, some parts of it, not all of it, because there's many things in the book Child Bride that are not nice. But the reason we like Child Bride a bit is because it gives an alternative reality to Priscilla Presley. It shows her in a different light. It shows that there's a good chance that she may have been lying all these years. Is that why we like it? Shows that she may have had a game plan with Cary Grant, with her mother, to hook Elvis. And it goes into detail about her parents and her past and her time before she met Elvis. So we do like that something is exposing Priscilla, in our opinion, to get to the truth. But there's also things in that book that are not nice, that make Elvis look bad. So to see her on the Australian 60 Minutes interview, basically talking about Elvis like he was a child, it's a horrible interview. She talks about him like he's a little child, that he never grew up, that because of it, that's why he liked little girls. I'm not happy about that. So Suzanne Finstad, if you ever watch my interviews, I'm not happy with the way you talk about Elvis. Elvis is the reason your book sold well. Suzanne Finstad, Child Bride. Elvis is the reason your book sold well and made you lots of money. So what are you there talking about him like he's a paedophile? All these years later, because you made the book in 1997. So all these years later, you're talking about Elvis like he's a paedophile. You owe Elvis. So I'm not happy with you, Suzanne Finstad. What are your views, guys? Shall I just show you a bit? Let's see if I can get it up. Let's have a look. Let's try. Someone sent it to me. I'll be honest with you, I was horrified by the whole thing. Right, you watch this, guys. Do you mind if I play it? When Elvis Presley first took to the stage in the mid-1950s, let's have a look. Conservative. Oh my goodness. Now I think these girls. You're a child. One second, let me find it. Right, here we go. I didn't know that Priscilla was not the only 14-year-old who was recently shot. Now listen. I want you guys to know. So I'm just checking your messages. Yes, thank you, Diana. And I just want you to know, I 100% do not accept anyone saying that Elvis was a paedophile. 100%. Now, do I think Elvis had thousands and thousands of adoring teenage fans? Of course. Who didn't? If you're a rock and roll star, if you're a pop star, you have thousands and thousands. Was Elvis friendly with them? Definitely. Did Elvis like their friendships? And things were very different in the 1950s and 60s. It was quite normal for a man in his 20s to be quite close to a teenage girl. But do I think Elvis was a paedophile? No way. You will never find a woman ever who says, I was underage and I had sex with Elvis. You won't find it. Trust me, I've looked. You will not find it. And so anyone that calls Elvis a paedophile, even I think these women were tricked. I think these women, this is just my opinion, guys, they were all interviewed. They did meet Elvis. And I believe that none of them thought they were going to use these interviews to make Elvis to be a paedophile. I think they were just speaking very fondly about Elvis in a real nice way, really proud of their friendship with Elvis, how kind he was, and they were boasting about Elvis. They did not know it was going to get twisted into this weird documentary that even Prime TV, Prime in England, showed it. I honestly don't believe that any of these women thought that this these TV, these news media companies were going to twist it all up like that and make Elvis look like a paedophile. So let's listen to Suzanne Finstad, and this is why I'm not happy with her. So let's get the volume up. Coley, I know he had friends with young girls. I agree with that. I agree. It's obvious. Yeah, come on. He was very close to Priscilla. And I get that. But he wasn't having sex with them. And whenever they wanted to have sex with him, he was always, no, we're not having sex. We are not having sex. And many of them tried to have sex with him. He always said no. Always. So didn't he have a saying that 14 gets you 20? Yeah, meaning a 14-year-old will get you 20 years in prison. It's just... But this lie is based on the Elvis and Me book. Everybody believes till 14-year-old goes stuck. Yeah, and that's true, Diana. But look, I'm not going to bullshit. Elvis had good friends that were teenagers. He did, but this is what I'm trying to say, guys. When it's 2024 now, yeah? In 1950s, 1960s, it was completely normal for a man in his 20s to have friends in their teenage years. Totally normal. It's not fair that something that was completely normal then is taken out of context and put into 2024, and then we can call him a paedophile, when we know it has never been proven that he had sex with an underage girl, ever. And I tell you now, in 47 years, even longer actually, someone would have said if they had sex with Elvis when they were underage. So I dispute anyone telling me that Elvis had sex with an underage girl. It never happened. It never happened. That is why we're called Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. Right, let me just play this clip.
To discover the King's numerous teenage love affairs. And I didn't know that Priscilla was not the only 14-year-old girl, that he had a proclivity for teenage girls, and that she was one in a long line. There was a series of 14-year-olds, and up until really he was 40. Yeah, no, it never stopped. And Elvis is someone who, because he became famous so young, he, I think, suffered from kind of an arrested emotional development. He, was suddenly a big rock and roll star, and he was still kind of frozen at a more elementary level. When Elvis was away from his...
Let me just pause that. Now, he was frozen. I'm insulted by that comment that Suzanne Finstad just said. He was at an elementary level. What she's basically saying is that he was childish. That because he was childlike, he wanted to be with children. This is what it infuriates me, because Elvis had so many girlfriends that were over 20. So many. Many of the girlfriends he had were over 20. So to say that Elvis was stuck in a childlike way and only liked young girls because he felt young is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. And I have a problem with what Suzanne is saying. Right, let's keep playing it.
In Hollywood, his appetite for young teenagers never eased. In 1960, when he was 25, he spotted Sandy Ferrer in a photograph at her father's nightclub and asked to meet her. Despite Sandy...
Let me find the Suzanne Finstad thing. Now, remember, all of these girls speak very highly of Elvis. They literally say how much of a gentleman he was, how decently he treated them, and
that he wanted to date me, and my mother said, I don't care if you're king for me. My daughter's only 4.
I'm trying to find the next Suzanne Finstad clip. Here we go. Right.
Priscilla told me a really interesting thing when I was working on the biography of Priscilla. She said that Elvis confided in her more than once that he felt this tremendous pressure to perform sexually because he was Elvis. He was the king. He was the sex symbol. And he felt more comfortable and more, I guess, in control and more sexually authoritative if he was with an inexperienced girl, because they didn't know any different. His sort of sweet spot with women or sexual.
That guys, that just infuriates me. That infuriates me. Come on, guys. Elvis had plenty of sexual experience. Plenty. He didn't have to sleep with a 14-year-old girl to feel that his manhood was bigger. It's just such rubbish. I just want to warm up my coffee. So I'm going to leave you with my lounge. I need to warm this up. I'm going to leave you in my lounge for 30 seconds. All right, we have hot coffee. Guys, we have to have hot coffee when we do our live streams. Very important. Right, let me come back to this. Let me quickly read that comment. They didn't dare to speak out when he was alive, and now he is dead. They are saying everything to the contrary. No respect anymore. All they want is money, money, money. I think the girls were tricked. I think most of the girls in that interview had no idea that they were going to turn it into a whole Elvis is a paedophile documentary. I think they were tricked. Did they get money? Very probable. Now, this is what bugs me, guys, about Suzanne Finstad. She writes Child Bride. The main topic of Child Bride was to look into Priscilla Presley and her childhood, and her mother, her parents, Cary Grant, all the people that were friends of Priscilla at her schools, different friends that Priscilla had when she was very young, like 13, 14, 15, yeah? So why does that make her the authority on Elvis? Why do these people that write books suddenly think they know everything about Elvis? Why? Why it suddenly is because this is the problem with Sally Hoddle and her book, Destined to Die Young. Yeah? All of a sudden they think they have the right to be the authority on Elvis because they went out of their way to write a book, do some research, some witnesses as well. Suddenly they think they know it all about Elvis and that they have the authority to talk about Elvis in a negative way. And sell their books. But then Suzanne Finstad has clearly said, she's clearly saying he is a paedophile. Yeah? And then we've got Sally Hoddle, the author of Destined to Die Young, who is clearly telling us to shut our mouths and not talk negatively about Elvis or Priscilla. I'm on about trying to defend Elvis. Yeah? So these people, they're writing books and then they think they can tell us what to do. It's rubbish. It's complete rubbish. Then they think they're the authority on Elvis. It's rubbish, guys. What are your views on that? Please, in your comments, what do you think about people writing books and then thinking they can talk about Elvis as if they knew him? Sally Hoddle never knew Elvis. Suzanne Finstad never knew Elvis, but they talk about him like they were best friends. They know nothing, guys. They've gone off, they've done some research, they've spoke to a few relatives or ex-friends of Priscilla, and they think they know it all. They think they can pay Elvis out to be either a paedophile or a drug addict.
Actually authoritative if he was with an inexperienced girl because they didn't know any different. His sort of sweet spot, I guess, with women or girls would have been a 14-year-old girl. And as you're about to see
that? Do you see that? Do you see that? Doesn't that just infuriate you? I'll tell you what, it drives me mad because She has just said that Elvis's sweet spot with girls was a 14-year-old girl. What is that? We could list, you and me right now on this live stream, could list dozens of women that Elvis dated that were over 20. Dozens. Dozens. But what did she say? His sweet spot for girls is 14. How disgusting. Especially after she probably made a fortune from that book. The book Child Bride, she would have made a fortune. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? Then you got Sally Hoddle, who's telling us off. Do you know what? Now we're talking about that. Now let me finish off this one first. Then you got Sally Hoddle also telling us off, telling us how to talk, what to say as Elvis fans, just because she wrote a book that is now coming out now. There's a possibility that many of the facts in Sally Hoddle's book, Destined to Die Young, are incorrect. And that there is a possibility that the Alpha 1 thing that she keeps bringing up, that Elvis may have been a carrier of Alpha 1, might not be completely true. We've got Amy Collett, who was interviewed on Presley Mania by Rhonda, is now saying, oh, well, actually, there's more to it. Yeah? So these books that people are writing, they're not even fully correct, and they're not properly researched. So then they're telling us how to be as fans, telling us what to say, what we should and shouldn't say. That Sally Hoddle even tried to speak on behalf of Elvis and said that Elvis wouldn't like it. How does she know what Elvis would or wouldn't like? Personally, I think Elvis would love the fact that we defend him. So when I hear Sally Hoddle, the author of Destined to Die Young, the book, saying that Elvis wouldn't like it, you have no idea what you're talking about, Sally. You have no idea.
Taste never changed, even
right, let's just
as
see
he
if
approached 40.
Let me just see if there's any more. I think that's... Right, let's just see what else she has to say, okay? Now, this book...
As someone who knows...
I mean, she's come out of the woodwork, hasn't she? Because she's been quiet for years and years and years. She never wrote a part 2 to Child Bride. So, let's see what... I don't even know what she's going to say. Let's see what she has to say.
More about Elvis than most, biographer Suzanne Finstad remains uncomfortable with the reality of his love life. Was Elvis Presley a pedophile? You know, I think part of it was there were psychological elements at play with Elvis. Not that that excuses the age of the girls that he was dating. And I think part of it is that he grew up in the deep South in America.
Let me just butt in there, yeah? She says the girls he was dating, none of them had sex with them. None of them had sex with Elvis, yeah? He may have given them attention and all that kind of stuff, but there was no sex. He wasn't dating them. He was not dating them. This is all about, she wants to have her 15 minutes of fame on that program, 60 Minutes in Australia. That's what this is about. And then from the point of view of 60 Minutes, it's a good story for them, isn't it? It's a headline-grabbing story that's going to get loads of viewers. They're using they're abusing Elvis's reputation and image, so they get people to watch their program. It's so unfair, and Elvis can't defend himself. Elvis can't jump up and say, that never happened. I never had sex with them. Elvis can't do it. He's dead. God rest his soul. Right? So these people are making money off Elvis. These programs are making money off Elvis, and he has no say. No say, nothing. Can't defend himself. So the public, the general public, are watching these kind of programs, and they're getting the wrong impression of Elvis, that he's a paedophile, that he was a rapist, that he was a controller, a groomer, a violent man. They get all these negative, horrible things that are being aired around the world, because that interview would have gone around the world. We know it was on Prime, and Elvis can't defend himself. And us Elvis fans are infuriated, because how do we defend Elvis? We have no way of defending Elvis. All we can do is go onto these YouTube channels and post comments. That's all we can do. If you're an Elvis channel like me and Shauna and Presley Mania and Elvis, Rare Elvis photos, you can defend him like that. But we don't get on these big stages, do we? We don't get on these massive media companies' TV news shows. So Elvis is being discredited and being made out to be a paedophile. His reputation is being ruined. His image is being ruined. The good that the Baz Luhrmann Elvis film did has been thrown away, all because these stupid news companies want to make these horrific documentaries that make Elvis look horrible just for money and fame. For Suzanne Finstad, for fame. Right, let's keep playing.
Excuses the age of the girls that he was dating. And I think part of it is that he grew up in the deep South in America and at a time when, it was somewhat commonplace in rural areas for young men to date young girls. From the accounts of these girls, now women, Elvis was very aware that there was a line. Yeah, he would tell them quite regularly, 14 will get you 20, meaning he would be in prison for 20 years. So he did know that this was something that was against the law.
Oh, God.
Elvis's teenage...
This whole thing, 14 will get you 20, that she mentioned, yeah, which I mentioned just now. Yeah, he said it because he didn't do it. He said 14 will get you 20 because he knew you do not have sex with underage girls. So she turns it into a twisted thing to make him out to be the paedophile. So Suzanne Finstad, if you ever watch this, you have made money with your book Child Bride for years and years, and your thanks to Elvis is to sit on that stupid program and call him a paedophile and go on and on about it around, and that's gone around the world. That's your thanks. But you've lined your pockets on Elvis's name. Because let's face it, your book wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Elvis Presley. So, sorry, guys. Right. Now, because we've mentioned Suzanne Finstad, I do think we've gone a bit off topic. So I do think we should carry on the topic that we're on. Right. I know that we covered this already, but I want to quickly, because now we're talking about authors that are discrediting Elvis. Let's play this just for a bit of fun. Right. Now we're on that topic, yeah?
Fiction, nonfiction, and I think it's top 5. I thought so. The proper. Right. Well, let me know. I think it's probably... She actually was an enormous Elvis fan, like millions of other teenagers in the 1950s, and actually had sort of strategized to meet him when she discovered that her family was being transferred to Germany, to the point that she even sort of recreated the look of actress Deborah Paget, with whom Elvis had fallen in love when he made his first movie, Love Me Tender. She recreated the hairstyle. It's kind of a unique look that Deborah had in that film. And she and Curry met, as the legend goes, in Germany. But in fact, according to Curry, it was Priscilla who strode up to him boldly one day and said, I understand that you know Elvis Presley and I'd like to meet him. And according to Curry, she was willing to do virtually anything to make that meeting happen, including sleeping with Curry, as he says, to effect the introduction. Priscilla? Wait. Okay. This is my husband, Straight ahead. Priscilla. Thank you very much. I spent most of the day at her house, and she was extraordinarily candid with me on a lot of intimate issues. And I think the reason that she was so forthcoming about her sex life with Elvis is that I think there was a certain desperation on her part to illustrate to fans why she would leave Elvis Presley and why she would leave him for a karate champion. People have sort of puzzled and pondered over that for years, and I think she wanted to demonstrate that this, for her, was not a fantasy relationship once she was in it, that there were aspects of it that were harrowing for her. And as a result, she confided these accounts of how Elvis had asked her to participate in lesbian sex with another teenager, and he then videotaped. A lot of the fans really do not embrace Priscilla, and I think that they have intuited over the years that her story just didn't ring true. And as a result, I actually was just in Memphis for Elvis Week, and I had fan upon fan come up to me and thank me for writing this book. And they said, we've just been waiting for someone to have the courage to, sort of investigate this and tell the truth about Priscilla and Elvis, because they've sensed that what they've been told was not true. So, they're actually seeing it as a vindication, and they're embracing it.
Oh my God, isn't that laughable? Isn't that laughable? Now, I'm guessing that was 1997, guys. So she is there saying that the Elvis fans at Elvis Week, now how dare she go to Elvis Week if she thought Elvis was a paedophile? How dare she? But you think about it, guys. All the fans were thanking her and embracing her book because it exposed Priscilla. And her thanks, 15, 20 years later, is to sit on the Australian 60-minute news show and call Elvis a paedophile and say that Elvis's sweet spot with girls was 14-year-olds. You should be, Suzanne Finstad, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you will not be going to Elvis Week, will you? Because you won't be welcome at Elvis Week because you've called Elvis a paedophile. You really have you've closed that door. The door to Elvis fans for Suzanne Finstad is closed. Now, what a shame. Because the beginning of this interview, when she talks about her book, and the book is trying to expose Priscilla Presley as having an alternative reality when she was 14 and 15, that she had pre-plotted, pre-planned with Cary Grant and her parents the meeting of Elvis. The fans like that because the fans are so upset with Priscilla that this book was one of the first books that were exposing Priscilla's true colours. So we were pleased. Do we agree with that, guys? We were pleased with that part of the book, Child Bride, that showed that the book Elvis and Me isn't correct. The book Elvis and Me is a fairy tale, that it insinuates negative things about Elvis that we don't agree with. Paints Elvis in a bad light. The book Elvis and Me. So when the book Child Bride came out, we were like, oh, finally, there's someone that's saying the truth about Priscilla. This is good, yeah? This is good. And then, all these years later, she's calling him a paedophile. She's saying that his sweet spot is 14-year-old girls and that he has a childlike personality. And because of his childlike personality, he liked to be around young girls because he had no sexual experience. He wasn't confident in bed. Come on, guys. Elvis had loads of girlfriends, over 20. He had plenty of sexual experience. He didn't need to be with a 14-year-old girl to feel like a man. It's ridiculous. Come on, Anne Margaret, one of the sexiest women ever, over 20. Elvis was deeply in love with her. We know this. It's pretty obvious they had sex. Now, anyone that tells me that Elvis preferred a 14-year-old girl over Anne Margaret, it makes me laugh. So Suzanne Finstad, you are wrong. If you think Elvis just like 14-year-old girls, you are in dream world. You need to do some proper research and research all the different girlfriends that Elvis had. They're not all 14 years old. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going on a bit, ain't I? Right. So, there was a new... I remember what I was going to do now. Let's have a look. Right. So I just wanted to say one... Now we're talking about our authors. I thought I'd just say one more thing. Right, okay. Right. Hello? So I'm in here a minute. I'm nearly done now. Leave when? Sorry, guys, 1 second. What's up, Beth? Yes, 12:45. That's now. I'm finished. 5 minutes. Pick it up. Okay, guys, just a few more minutes, and I'm gonna have to shoot off. So, I may as well show you. No, actually, no. I want to. Actually, no. I'm not going to show you that because I want to make that a part 2. Right. So let's just go. Let's see if we can find Sally Hoddle's interview that obviously we've done a few videos about.
Perspective. So I always can see both sides of that
So,
because I'm a lifelong fan.
We'll do a few.
And
Let me just
I have a skill set and education behind what I do.
Right, pause. We'll do a few minutes on Sally Hoddle. We know about this interview. Sally Hoddle has her own YouTube channel. And we know, again, she wrote the book Destined to Die Young. I dispute many of the facts that are in this book. I don't think it's all correct. I also think she has no medical history. Now, some of the bits in this book, I think, have been helpful to Elvis because it shows that Elvis had serious chronic illnesses. So there are parts of this book that I'm very grateful for that made Elvis look good. Yeah. But there are also many parts in this book that may be incorrect. And this is where Amy Collett comes in. And then you've got Dr. Forrest Tennant's version of Elvis's chronic illnesses. So it's a mixed bag of stuff that was being pulled together. Now, the bit that we're not happy with Sally Hoddle is that she tried to tell us off for having views defending Elvis Presley. Remember, we are defending Elvis Presley here. Fans want the truth. Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. I'll just remind you, the Facebook page is Defending Elvis Presley, Louis' Daily Live Streams. The Facebook page is Defending Elvis Presley's Louis' Daily Live Streams. Also, please subscribe or please become a member. Please subscribe or please become a member and please like. Anyway, my point is, we feel that she tried to tell us what we can and can't say about Elvis. So I don't agree. So I'm going to play this.
It talks about Elvis and his health and his struggles and what he was, having a diagnosis and so much that he didn't know he had until the autopsy, so no one could treat it. And then some of the things he had, like hypogammaglobulinemia, immune system problem. Even if they had known he had that, they wouldn't have known how to treat it in 1977 or prior. So that really was a disadvantage for him. And then in correlation to Celine, who it took, I think, 16 years to get a diagnosis.
And let's get to I want to get to the point where she is telling us what to say.
The blame game is is not the place to go for understanding and knowledge, right? Especially in a historical context. And then Vernon is new to the list of the blame game. And I think it's because of the movie. I do. Because he is, everybody's kind of just, well, anyway, I don't want to have a movie conversation. That's not what I want. But the way that Vernon is portrayed in the movie, I think, is why he's now attached to the blame game. Why didn't Vernon do anything? Why didn't his father help him? And everyone has to understand that, they didn't realize how sick Elvis was. Elvis wanted to keep being Elvis. They live in this alternate universe. All the things I've always talked about. I don't want to get into all of that again because that's a whole separate conversation. But just the blame game, right? I think there's so much conversation about whose fault it was instead of talking about Elvis and his legacy and his contribution. The other thing that goes along with that is pity. And this is something I talk about a lot with my friends. And that's the other aspect of this that's important. When I say Elvis is the elephant in the room, not because we don't talk about him, but how we talk about him. Look, it's fun for all of us to kind of analyze the history. And that's important, It's who was best for Elvis? Who was it? What should he have recorded? What didn't he record? What direction should his movie career have taken? Those are all, interesting historical conversations. But when we place our own personal, emotional thing onto the history, it hurts Elvis. It doesn't help Elvis, right? So the second one is pity. And I see so much pity for Elvis. And it makes me sad.
So you see that? I quickly got a clip there, and she basically is saying that when we defend Elvis, we're hurting him. We hurt Elvis. It doesn't help him. It's just such rubbish. Right, let's just play a bit more of this because I've got to go in a minute.
Because I don't see Elvis as a weak man at all. But if we're going to believe that he surrounded himself with evil, horrible people and horrible women, like only one of those women were good for Elvis, the rest were all just horrible. And if we're going to believe that, the colonel was nothing but bad and that the guys were all just there to mooch off of him and that no one was looking out for Elvis, that's pitiful. I mean, this is pitiful because what does that say about Elvis? It says that Elvis is weak. It says that Elvis is not very bright. It says that, he wasn't an active participant in his own life. And I very much so think Elvis was an active participant in his life. He loved being Elvis Presley. So I think we really have to watch the pity that we put on him. And I see those comments a lot too when I talk about his health. Again, nobody was looking out for Elvis. Everybody worked Elvis to death. Nobody loved Elvis. And those things are just not true. They're not true. The guys loved Elvis, each one in his own way. It doesn't mean they didn't make mistakes. I have people in his life who I appreciate more than others, and some that I have an issue with more than others. I'll just be honest and say that Lamar Fike is my least favorite Memphis Mafia member, and not because of his active participation in Elvis's life, but the decisions he made after Elvis died. There was a lot of things he did for money, and a lot of things were malicious in nature, and they were lies. So that's a problem for me. But it doesn't change how I analyze his contribution to the history of it either, because he was there in 1956. He was there from the beginning, so he is an important person
She just
and to understand Elvis's story. Sometimes
she just waffles. She basically says Elvis chose his friends, so if they made mistakes, it was Elvis's fault. That's basically what she says. It's ridiculous. But then she suits herself by slagging off Lamar Fike. It makes no sense at all. You can't say to the Elvis fans that you're not entitled to defend Elvis, to stand up against people like Priscilla. The fact that some of the Memphis Mafia members betrayed Elvis. You can't say, because Elvis chose them, because obviously he chose Priscilla, he chose the Memphis Mafia, that all the wrongdoing that they did was okay, that it was Elvis's fault. Yeah, it's just such a load of rubbish, guys. And again, I say it again to you guys, that just because you write a book, I say this to Sally Hoddle and to Suzanne Finstad, just because you write a book doesn't mean that you know it all about Elvis, that you are the authority to speak on behalf of Elvis. Doesn't mean that. It means you wrote a medical book. You've got no medical background, by the way. You wrote a medical book, you did some research, you went to Tupelo, met some of the Smith family and wrote a book, and you pulled a load of facts together and you created this book which made you loads of money. I think that book, Destined to Die Young, changed Sally Hoddle's life. Gave her lots of money, a lot of success. Yeah? And her thanks is to slag off the Elvis fans and basically say, you're not entitled to an opinion, because when you have an opinion that defends Elvis, you harm Elvis. That is ridiculous. So I'm sorry, Sally Hoddle, but you've pushed yourself into a corner and you are now becoming very unpopular because people aren't happy that you're trying to shut people up, shut people down. That interview was a mistake. A mistake. You should take it back. You should do a part 2 and apologize for that interview. We are going to defend Elvis, whether you like it or not. It's not up to you. You just wrote a book and made money off his name. Suzanne Finstad. We're grateful that you've brought out some facts about Priscilla with the book Child Bride, exposing Priscilla and showing a side to Priscilla that has been kept hidden from the world. So we love the fact that Suzanne Finstad's book Child Bride exposes a side to Priscilla that gets us nearer to the truth of that Priscilla is not the person that she is perceived. She's not the person in the book Elvis and Me. She's not the person that she likes us to think she is. She's not the person that all the interviewers have fallen for with these horrific interviews that she gives that basically belittle Elvis. They also praise Elvis, but the sly, clever thing is they belittle him as well. So my words to any author that writes a book about Elvis Presley is, if you are making money off Elvis's back and writing a book that slags Elvis off, that makes Elvis look small or stupid or a pedophile or a rapist or violent or a groomer or a drug addict, yeah, what you're not in our book, in our world, you are not welcome. You are not welcome. The haters of Elvis that are trying to make money off Elvis's back, we don't like you. Elvis fans are not happy with you. You are betraying Elvis. He cannot defend himself. He cannot defend himself. He has passed away, and you are ignoring all the good that he did for the world, for the fans. This beautiful essence that he gave out to the world over 50 years ago. Yeah. And you are ignoring that, and you are just making money, bringing up negative lies about Elvis to make money. We're not having it, guys. We are defending Elvis Presley. Team Elvis, taking care of business. Now, if you guys want to become part of Team Elvis, please subscribe, please like. You can become a member if you like, and you can join us so we can defend Elvis Presley together as a large movement. We are a movement of people coming together from around the world to defend Elvis Presley. We've done a lot of research. We've got lots of documents, movies, pictures, interviews that back up a lot of what we are saying. And if you come out with rubbish like Suzanne Finstad's stupid interview on the 60-minute special in Australia, calling Elvis a paedophile, we're going to jump up and we're going to shout you down. Yeah. And Suzanne and Sally Hoddle, if you're going to try and mute us and tell us what we can and can't say to defend Elvis, you can shut your mouth, girl. Shut your mouth. It's none of your business. Yeah. Go away with your book. Yeah. You've made your money. Now let us do our job to defend Elvis Presley. We are defending Elvis Presley. That's why we're here. Okay. So that's it, guys. I'm going to have to go, but I hope that you've enjoyed that. I haven't been able to read the comments. I will read them back later. So I'm going to come back later and do what I originally said I was going to do, and that is we're going to talk about Michael Lockwood's cash agreement to do with Finley and Harper and the trust and how much money he's been awarded. And we are also going to talk about the Graceland scammer and that she's facing a prison sentence. We're going to talk about that as well, because this is what we were going to talk about today. But we've been distracted. So I'm off to Bristol. I'm going to be there about 3 hours. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another live stream. So let's get just as a guess, we're probably talking about 5 o'clock English time. So thanks, guys. It's been fun. I hope you don't mind it in the lounge. Seems okay. It seems to be working in here. I get the kids are much quieter when I'm in this room. So love to you all, guys. Please subscribe. 78% of you do not subscribe. Please subscribe. If you want to be a member, you know it means a lot to me. Hit the join button. It means everything to me. And thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Please leave comments on the subjects that we've spoken about today, this morning. Leave some comments. Tell me how you feel. Thanks, guys. I'm going to have to go. I have to say goodbye to all of you. Sending you love. Sending you love. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go. I'll be back later. You take care. All of you. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.